This is a story about the passing of a torch. But what happens when the man holding the flame refuses to let it go? For years, the golf world has been searching for the next Tiger Woods. We found him in a man named Scottie Scheffler. He is the undisputed number one. He is the machine, the unstoppable force who has dominated the PGA Tour in a way we haven't seen since Tiger himself was in his prime. Every stat, every trophy, every metric points to one conclusion. This is now Scottie's world, but golf has a funny way of humbling you just when you think you have it all figured out. And the old king? He hasn't left the building just yet. Tiger Woods is a name that hangs over the tour like a ghost. He is not playing full-time. His body is held together by metal and willpower. He has missed more cuts in the last few years than he did in his entire career before the accident. To the new generation, Tiger is a legend you respect from a distance. He is a statue in the hallway. But the statue just started moving again. The legend is still speaking. Tiger recently sat down for an interview and said something that no one saw coming. It wasn't a prediction about who would win the next major. It was a challenge. A direct, personal, and deeply unsettling challenge to Scottie Scheffler. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't loud. It was quiet, ominous, and full of the kind of quiet confidence that only a champion of his caliber can summon. In one shocking sentence, Tiger managed to reframe the entire narrative of professional golf. He looked at the man who is currently invincible and said something that made the entire golf world stop and hold its breath. Was it a warning? Was it a dismissal? Or was it the haunting return of the most dangerous competitor the sport has ever known? The comment was so subtle, yet so cutting, that it has sparked a debate that will define the 2026 golf season. It has put a target on Scheffler's back that he never saw coming. But to understand the weight of what Tiger said, we first have to understand the dynamic at play. We have to look at the rivalry that isn't a rivalry, the respect that borders on fear, and the complex relationship between the master and the student. We need to go back to the last time they faced each other in competition and look at the look in Scottie's eyes that he truly understand the shockwave created by Tiger Woods' recent comments. We have to step back and look at the landscape of professional golf in the summer of 2026. The narrative was simple and accepted by almost everyone. Scottie Scheffler is the best player on the planet. That wasn't just an opinion, it was a statistical fact. He was coming off a season for the ages, winning the Masters, the Players' Championship, and putting up numbers that rivaled the peak of any player in the history of the game. He was the favorite at every single tournament he entered. He was winning by multiple shots. He was making the impossible look routine. The American public had accepted him as the new hero. He is quiet, humble, and family-oriented. He doesn't have the flashy lifestyle of some of his peers. He just wins. He is the definition of a boring champion. And that's exactly what the PGA Tour needed after a turbulent few years of controversy and upheaval. Scottie was the steady hand, the safe bet, the guy who could be counted on to bring the trophy home. And then there was Tiger Woods. At this stage of his career, Tiger is a part-time player. He's a legend, but he's a limited legend. He comes out for the majors and a few select events, but his body simply doesn't allow him to play a full schedule. The media treats every Tiger start like a royal visit. People don't expect him to win anymore. They just want to see him walk the fairways one more time. But that is a dangerous assumption. You see, you are never just playing against Tiger Woods' score. You are playing against his mind. You are playing against his legacy. Scottie Scheffler, despite all his success, grew up idolizing Tiger. He isn't just another competitor. He is a fan. He wears the same shoes. He has modeled his mental approach on Tiger's teachings. When they play practice rounds together, it's often a quiet round. It's a student and a teacher just walking the course. This brings us to the event that set the stage for the shocking statement. Earlier this year, they played in the same event. It was a big tournament, a chance for the young king and the old king to go head-to-head. It was the first time in a while that they had been in serious contention on the same leaderboard. The atmosphere was electric. The fans were following Tiger, but Scottie was the one making the birdies. Scottie won the tournament. He played incredible golf. Tiger finished a few shots back, a respectable finish for any player, but a devastating result for a man who has won everything. What happened next is the seed of the current drama. The golf world looked at that result and said, the changing of the guard is complete. Scottie is just better now. But here's the thing about champions. They remember everything. They remember the shots they missed. They remember the noise of the crowd cheering for the other guy. They remember the feeling of walking off the 18th green knowing they lost. Tiger Woods walked off that green with a look on his face that seemed to say, "I see what you are doing, kid. I see the target on your back." Scottie celebrated the win as he always does, quietly, with his family. He was gracious in victory. He spoke highly of Tiger. But something changed in the dynamic. The student had beaten the teacher. And the teacher, despite all of his physical limitations, is still one of the most prideful and determined human beings to ever walk the earth. He isn't the type to just take a beating. He plots. He schemes. He waits. And that brings us directly to the interview. A simple, sit-down interview with a major news network. It was supposed to be a soft piece. A recap of his career. The legacy of Tiger Woods. Then, the reporter asked a simple question. "Tiger, you've watched Scottie Scheffler dominate the tour. You've seen how good he is. As the man who used to hold that mantle, what do you see when you look at him?" Tiger leaned forward. He paused. The smile left his face. The casual, buddy demeanor evaporated. He gave a look that he hasn't given in years. It was a look that made the reporter nervous. It was a look that said, "You don't understand what you are asking." He answered. And the answer was the shocking statement that we are about to break down. An answer that Scottie Scheffler heard. An answer that the rest of the tour heard. An answer that changed the season and made Scottie look like the hunted rather than the hunter. To understand the full weight of what Tiger Woods said, we have to go back to the very beginning of this story. We have to look at the DNA of these two men, because what Tiger said wasn't just a random comment in an interview. It was the culmination of decades of experience, pain, and an unshakable belief in his own abilities. It was a statement that could only come from a man who has seen it all, done it all, and built the very foundation that Scottie Scheffler is standing on. Scottie Scheffler grew up in the shadow of Tiger Woods. He is part of what we call the Tiger Effect generation. These are the kids who picked up a golf club because they watched Tiger dominate on Sunday afternoons. They wore the red shirts on the last day of junior tournaments. They practiced the fist pump in the mirror. Scottie is no different. He has admitted in interviews that Tiger is the reason he plays golf. He watched every major, studied every swing, and tried to mimic the mental fortitude that made Tiger unbeatable. But here is the irony. The very thing that Scottie admired about Tiger is now the thing that might be his biggest obstacle. Tiger Woods never had a hero. He was the hero. He never had to look up to someone who was still playing. He never had to share the course with his idol. Scottie does. Every time he steps on the tee box with Tiger, there is a part of him that is still that 10-year-old kid watching the Masters. That is a significant psychological hurdle. It is the difference between playing to win and playing to impress. The pressure on Scottie Scheffler right now is unlike anything we have seen in golf since Tiger was in his prime. Every tournament he enters, he is expected to win. Every shot he hits is analyzed. Every missed putt is a headline. He is carrying the weight of the entire PGA Tour on his shoulders. He is the face of the new era, the man who is supposed to fill the massive void that Tiger left when his body started to break down. And for the most part, he has handled it with a grace and maturity that is rare for someone his age. But the pressure is not just external. It is internal. Scottie is a perfectionist. He is hard on himself. He expects to win. He expects to dominate. And when he doesn't, he spirals. We saw it at the major championship earlier this year, where a simple 3-putt cost him the tournament. His face went blank. The confidence drained out of him. He looked like he was carrying the weight of the world. That is the thing about being the best. There is nowhere to hide. There is no one to blame but yourself. Tiger Woods knows that pressure better than anyone. He lived it for over 2 decades. He felt the eyes of the world on him every time he teed it up. He knows what it feels like to have your entire identity wrapped up in your performance. He knows what it feels like to be the hunted. And that is what makes his recent statement so brilliant and so brutal. He isn't just talking to Scottie. He is talking to the ghost of the pressure that he himself created. He is telling Scottie that he has a long way to go before he can truly understand what it means to be the king. There is another layer to this story that is often overlooked. The rivalry, if you can call it that, is not just about golf swings. It is about legacy. Tiger Woods spent his entire career chasing Jack Nicklaus's record of 18 majors. He pushed himself to the brink of physical and mental exhaustion to achieve that goal. He sacrificed relationships, health, and his reputation to become the greatest of all time. And he did it. He tied the record. He is the benchmark. Scottie Scheffler is chasing Tiger's records now. He is on a path that, if he stays healthy and continues to dominate, could put him in the conversation for the greatest ever. He has the talent. He has the drive. He has the team around him. But he doesn't have the scar tissue. He doesn't have the experience of fighting through the darkest moments. He hasn't had to overcome a scandal, a major injury, or the crushing weight of public expectation in the way that Tiger did. He has had it relatively easy. Tiger Woods is a master of psychological warfare. He has always used his aura, his presence, and his words to intimidate opponents. He would walk into the locker room, and the other players would wilt. He would hit a shot that no one else could hit, and you could see the hope drain from their faces. He played chess while everyone else played checkers. And now, he is using that same strategy against Scottie. He is planting a seed of doubt. He is reminding Scottie that he hasn't won enough yet. He is telling the world that the young king still has a lot to prove. The statement itself was about standards. It was about expectations. Tiger was asked if Scottie's current dominance reminds him of his own prime. Tiger leaned back in his chair, looked directly into the camera, and said something that sent chills down the spine of every golf fan. He said that Scottie is playing great golf, some of the best in the world. But then he paused, and with a cold, calculated delivery, he said, "He's doing it in my era. He's playing against my generation. He's playing against the guys I beat for years. Let's see what happens when the real pressure hits." It was a dismissal. It was a challenge. It was a statement that said, "You are winning, but you are winning against the players I broke. You are playing in the world I built. You haven't faced me when I was at my best, and you haven't faced the kind of pressure that I created." Scottie heard it. The entire tour heard it. And the silence that followed was deafening. It was a silence that screamed a single question. Is Scottie Scheffler truly the king? Or is he just the guy who inherited the throne while the king was away? It was the opening salvo in a war that no one saw coming. The silence after Tiger's words was not empty. It was filled with the weight of a challenge that could not be ignored. For the next few months, the golf world watched closely, waiting to see how the young king would respond. Would Scottie Scheffler use those words as fuel to push himself to even greater heights? Or would the pressure of the challenge finally crack the unshakable foundation he had built? What happened next was something no one expected. The machine started to show cracks. The man who couldn't stop winning suddenly could not find his way to the winner's circle. The numbers tell a stunning story. Scottie Scheffler won 14 tournaments over the previous 2 seasons. He was the most dominant force in golf since Tiger Woods in his prime. But since that victory at the American Express Open in January of 2026, the trophy case has remained empty. 6 months have passed. 6 months without a win. For any other player, that would be a normal stretch. For Scottie Scheffler, it is a crisis. The man who won 6 times in a season, who made winning look like breathing, had suddenly forgotten how to close the deal. The majors came and went. For chances to silence the doubters. For opportunities to prove that Tiger's words were nothing more than the ramblings of an aging champion. Scottie came close. He was runner-up at the Masters, finishing just behind Rory McIlroy. At the U.S. Open, he had a chance to complete the career Grand Slam, but fell short once again. The Open Championship, a tournament he had won the previous year, slipped through his fingers. The majors were the stage where legends are made, and Scottie could not find his way to the winner's circle. The narrative that he was the heir to the throne was starting to look shaky. The pressure is also coming from a financial angle that Scottie has joked about with Tiger himself. When they played together at the Hero World Challenge Pro-Am, Scottie said they spent most of the time talking about money and how the purses need to be bigger. He joked that Tiger feels he hasn't made enough money in his career, and that Scottie feels the same way about his own record-breaking 2024 season. It was a light-hearted moment, a glimpse into the relationship between the two men. But beneath the jokes lies a deeper truth. Scottie is closing in on Tiger's career earnings record. As of July 2026, Tiger Woods still leads the all-time PGA Tour money list with $121 million. But Scottie Scheffler is now third on that list with $115.4 million, closing fast. The money, the records, the legacy, it is all in play. And Tiger knows it. But perhaps the most telling moment in this unfolding drama came when Scottie was asked directly about the comparisons to Tiger. He has always been humble. He has always deflected the praise. After winning his 4th major, he said that the comparisons are silly. Tiger won 15 majors. He is only a quarter of the way there. He has said that Tiger stands alone in the game of golf and that there is only one Tiger Woods. These aren't just empty words. Scottie genuinely believes that he is not worthy of being mentioned in the same breath as his idol. He has said that he learned how to compete from watching Tiger, that playing with him in the final round of the Masters in 2020 taught him the intensity required to be a champion. He idolizes Tiger, and that is precisely why Tiger's words were so effective. They were a challenge from the one man Scottie has always looked up to. They were a reminder that no matter how many tournaments he wins, he will never be Tiger Woods. They were a message that the standard he is judged against is not the standard of his peers. It is the standard of the greatest player who ever lived. And Scottie is still falling short. Now the stage is set for the rest of the season. The young king is wounded. The old king is watching. And the golf world is waiting to see if Scottie Scheffler can find the magic that made him the most dominant player on the planet. The next chapter of this story will reveal how he responds to the pressure. Will he rise to the challenge and prove Tiger wrong? Or will the weight of the expectation finally crush him? The answer is coming, and it will define his legacy. The golf world held its breath as the 2026 major season unfolded, for chances for Scottie Scheffler to silence the doubters, for opportunities to prove that Tiger Woods' words were just the ramblings of an aging champion. What happened instead was a slow, painful unraveling that no one saw coming. The man who had won 4 majors in 2 years suddenly could not find his way to the winner's circle on the biggest stage of all. The Masters came first. Scottie had won at Augusta National before. He knew the course. He loved the course. But this time, he found himself trailing after the 3rd round, forced to chase rather than protect a lead. He shot a brilliant final round, but it wasn't enough. Rory McIlroy, the man who had been chasing the career Grand Slam for years, finally captured the green jacket and left Scheffler as the runner-up. The narrative was shifting. Scottie was no longer the closer. He was the chaser. The U.S. Open at Shinnecock Hills was supposed to be his moment. He needed this one to complete the career Grand Slam. The fans were rooting for him. The media was ready to crown him. And he came close. So close. But again, he finished tied for 4th, his slow starts costing him the opportunity to put pressure on the leaders. The Grand Slam would have to wait. The wait was becoming painful. The Open Championship at Royal Birkdale was the last chance. The final major of the season. Scottie had won this tournament the previous year. He knew how to lift the claret jug. But the magic was gone. He posted a 3-under par 67 in his final push, a good round by any standard, but he was already out of the running. He finished tied for 4th, his major season ending without a single trophy. For the first time since 2023, Scottie Scheffler had gone an entire major season without winning one. The drought was real. The questions were mounting. But perhaps the most brutal moment came after the majors, at the 3M Open in Minnesota. Scottie played some of the best golf of his life over the weekend, shooting a 64 and a brilliant 8-under par 63 on Sunday. He was charging. He was making birdies. He looked like the old Scottie, the one who couldn't be stopped. And then he arrived at the 18th hole with a chance to post an incredible score, a chance to put pressure on the leader. This was the moment. The kind of moment that defines a champion. The kind of moment Tiger Woods lived for. Scottie was in position, standing over an iron shot with the tournament on the line. He had the chance to stuff it close, to make eagle, to finish with a 62. Instead, he hit an 80-foot putt from the fairway. It was a shockingly poor shot, one that left analysts and fans stunned. Smiley Kaufman, a former PGA Tour player and now an analyst, put it bluntly. He said that if this was the moment to compare Scottie to Tiger, Tiger would have hit that thing inside of 15 feet. He called it a horrendous golf shot in that situation, that the criticism was harsh. It was the kind of criticism that had been reserved for lesser players, not for the world number 1. Scottie finished runner-up again, his 5th runner-up finish of the season. He was the only golfer in 40 years to have at least 5 runner-up finishes in a single season. The consistency was remarkable, but the inability to win was becoming a headline. The pressure was building, and in the background, Tiger Woods' words echoed louder than ever. Scottie was winning, but he wasn't winning when it mattered most. He was playing great golf, but he was playing against the guys Tiger had beaten for years. The challenge had been laid down, and so far, Scottie had not answered.